Hello, and welcome to this week's edition of Don't Miss This on Paris Underground Radio. I'm your host, Jennifer Geraghty, with a quick roundup of the best of what's happening in Paris this week. This week's edition of Don't Miss This covers the week of Sunday, December 19th through Saturday, December 25th, 2021. There's one big event coming up this week that all of Paris has been waiting for months. We'll get to that. Before we do, let's check in with what's happening at the start of the week. You know what's great about the holidays? We can get in touch with our inner children and let them play. You know who else had an inner child? Napoleon! How's that for a segue? From now until January 9th, 2022, Playmobil will be setting up shop at the Musée de l'Armée, the Army Museum, for their exhibit Playmobil aux Invalides, en avant Napoléon. In the Terrain Room, you can retrace Napoleon's steps all the way from the early days of his training to his death in exile, including his great victories and defeats in miniature Playmobil form. Then you can play along with your smartphone, searching for hidden figurines as you move throughout the rest of the museum. Playmobil aux Invalides, en avant Napoléon, will run through January 9th, 2022. For more information, including ticketing, please visit musée-armée.fr. That's musee-armee.fr. What? What's that you say? That's not enough Playmobil for you? Well, apparently you are not alone. From December 19th, 2021 to January 2nd, 2022, you can indulge in even more Playmobil with Playmobil Expo, un Noël fantastique, at the Versailles Town Hall. You'll find Santa's village, replete with elves making toys, a candy garden, and fairies, elves, and dragons shopping at the Christmas market. As they do. So if you visit the Animals of the King exhibit, the Equestrian Show, or Le Parcours du Roi, which I told you about 2 weeks ago, at the Versailles Palace, why not tack on a trip to the Hôtel de Ville and see how Playmobil Santa compares to Playmobil Napoleon? Playmobil Expo, un Noël fantastique, is free to attend, and more information can be found at versailles.fr. That's versailles.fr. The conciergerie has been pulling out all the stops lately. You remember that ghost-busting mystery game from a couple of weeks ago? Now they're stepping it up with 3 family-oriented events between now and the end of the year. First, they'll join the Contes et Histoires, or Tales and Stories, festival that we talked about last week, with a puppet show named Îles, or Islands, that combines marionettes, shadows, and music. Created by the company Rêverie Mobile, you'll move along with little Tamanoy over 4 islands. She'll encounter gardeners, cooks, a birdman, and a stone sculptor before discovering a new island that resembles Paris and her Gothic monuments. What makes this show unique, though, is that the puppeteers will guide you from island to island by moving from room to room and using the shadows that fall naturally in the conciergerie, from the freestone architecture to the fireplaces to the vaults, while accompanying you with singing and acoustic music. This show will last about half an hour. The next week, on Monday, December 27th and Tuesday, December 28th, you can take a guided storytelling visit called The Conciergerie Through Time and learn about the history of the conciergerie, from the life of the palace in medieval times to the events of the French Revolution. And on Wednesday, December 29th and Thursday, December 30th, you can take a guided tour called Daily Life in the Middle Ages and learn about food, holidays, and daily life in the former palace of the Capetian kings. For more information on all 3 events, including tickets and schedules, please visit paris-conciergerie.fr. That's paris-conciergerie.fr. There are a few trends that strike me this week. If the first was Playmobil, the second is music. On Tuesday, December 21st, the Maison de la Radio et de la Musique, the House of Radio and Music, will treat us to Christmas Carol, Orgue et Récitant. Here, selected comedic and supernatural tales by Pierre Sange will be performed by actor Thomas Oliver and accompanied by organist Karol Muzikowski. Health passes are required, and attendees are asked to arrive 45 minutes ahead of time in anticipation of heightened security controls. More information, including ticketing, can be found at maisondelaradio et de la musique.fr. That's MAISONDELARADIOmusique.fr. How do you feel about Christmas concerts and stunning historic churches? If you're into it, you're in luck. From Tuesday, December 21st through Sunday, December 26th, you can attend a series of exclusive concerts at Sainte-Chapelle. You'll be treated to movements by Bach, Haydn, Vivaldi, Piazzolla, and Schubert, and more, performed by the famous Orchestre Classique Ensemble and the Paris City Choir with songs like Ave Maria and popular and sacred Christmas carols. Health passes are required and must be presented half an hour before the concert starts. The doors will close 5 minutes before the show and latecomers will not be admitted. Please also note that Sainte-Chapelle is not heated. You can find tickets many places online, including feverup.com and fnacspectacle.com. That's FNACSPECTACLES.com. On Wednesday, December 22nd and Thursday, December 23rd, treat yourself to the Elieu Orchestre Grand Concert of traditional Christmas carols at the Madeleine and Saint-Sulpice churches, respectively. 3 choirs will perform Christmas carols, including French and German classics, in the incredible setting of these 2 churches. More information, including ticketing, can be found at orchestreelieu.com. That's ORCHESTREHELIOS.com. Okay, so it's finally time to talk about it. It's pretty much all anyone's been talking about since Halloween. Decorations are up all over town. That's right. On Wednesday, December 22nd, Emily in Paris is back. Our beloved, or behated, or sometimes both at the same time, Emily, will make her way back to Netflix. She'll be joined by her 2 friends, Mindy and Camille, her tyrannical boss Sylvie, and her attractive neighbor Gabrielle. A new character has been added to the cast, Alfie, played by Lucien Laviscount. I really want to say Lucien Laviscount because it looks like a French name, but he's British, so Lucien Laviscount? I don't know. Anyway, rumor has it he's here to vie for Emily's heart. Stay tuned to Netflix for your Emily fix. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. And we're back. And, well, there's not a whole lot else starting up this week, as you can probably imagine. So I thought I'd tell you a little story. The story of my very first Christmas in Paris, so that you can learn from my mistakes. First, I should tell you, in case you don't know, that the French begin their celebrations on Christmas Eve, or Réveillon de Noël, and it typically includes a many coursed meal lasting 4 or 5 hours, and traditionally, midnight mass at a local church. Dinner can include courses of things like foie gras, oysters, salmon, scallops, caviar, capon, guinea fowl, pheasant, chestnuts, soup, salad, and cheese, and finish, of course, with a bûche de Noël, a Christmas log. Presents are usually opened after dinner. Okay, so with that as a baseline, the first time I spent Christmas in Paris, I think I was 13. My sister would have been 9, and we were visiting our dad, who was living here at the time. Since it was collectively our first Christmas here, my dad wanted to do it traditionally. We were not raised religiously at all. We were sort of taught a little bit of all different religions and told we should choose what works for us. But even if we had been religious, we would not have been Catholic. But since France was historically a Catholic country, and traditionally that means attending midnight mass, my dad was all about it. So he decided we'd go to midnight mass, come home, have dinner, and then open presents. Okay, so in my memory, we skipped dinner, and my dad put us to bed early, like at 7 or 8 o'clock. But, I mean, it's impossible to fall asleep when you're hungry and excited, and it's way before your bedtime. And you know that you're meant to wake up for Christmas festivities in just a couple of hours. So I don't think that either my sister or I got much sleep. Oh, and we lived in the center of Paris, overlooking Rue Saint-Dominique. So it's not like it was particularly quiet either. Okay, so at some point, my dad wakes us both up and we head off to Notre Dame for midnight mass. Because, I mean, if you're going to do it, you might as well do it right? So we go to Notre Dame, and here's the thing. In my memory, midnight mass was like a 6-hour classical music concert played on an organ. I'm sure it was probably more like an hour, but I remember it being very, very warm and hearing nothing but music, hypnotic music, and occasionally the sound of a voice speaking a language I didn't understand very well. It was very, very, very hard to stay awake. I mean, I can still imagine it now. I feel like there were a lot of elbow nudges. Okay, so the concert ends at whatever o'clock in the morning, and we head back home to where my father has thoughtfully bought and prepared a multi-coursed meal. He wanted to do it traditionally, so amuse-bouche, appetizer, fish course, meat course, cheese course, dessert, the whole thing. However, it's very difficult to appreciate any kind of food at all when the forces of hunger and the forces of sleep are vying for your attention. I think at some point we all just gave up and went to sleep and woke up late the next day as though the whole thing had been a dream. And so while I appreciate my father's impulse to embrace the culture of a place we were living, and I would encourage you to do the same, please also remember that food and sleep are basic human needs. I leave you with that moral and wish you a very happy holiday, however you celebrate. In Paris Underground Radio News, thank you to Helen Dolores for her review of Paris Undressed. Helen says, relatable. I'm listening to the Paris Undressed podcasts out of order, no idea why. Just listened to you and Jamie Bernard. Hilarious. 2 friends sharing their stories. Your nipples are in the wrong place. Hysterical. Who but a friend would notice? I related with much of what Jamie shared. Real conversation between friends. Bravo. 5 stars. Thank you so much, Helen Dolores. Paris Undressed goes behind the scenes of the lingerie capital of the world to explore femininity and sensuality. Host Kate Kemp-Griffin talks to the influential designers and brands shaping our breasts and our bodies. From bra stories to pajama parties, our lingerie drawers reveal a lot about how we see and feel the world around us. You'll be surprised how the whisper of your most intimate voice can now be heard. Find the full Paris Undressed playlist at parisundergroundradio.com/parisundressed. Well, that's it for this week's roundup of Don't Miss This. I hope this week treats you well. If you enjoyed this roundup, please tell a friend. If you venture out to any of the events mentioned in this podcast, please let me know and tag Paris Underground Radio on Facebook or Instagram. And if you think you have an event we should know about, please feel free to email me at hello@parisundergroundradio.com with the subject line, Don't Miss This. I'm your host, Jennifer Geraghty. You can find me on all socials at Jennyphoria. JENNYPHORIA. Don't Miss This is produced by me for Paris Underground Radio. For more on Don't Miss This and shows like it, please go to parisundergroundradio.com. Thank you so much for listening, and happy exploring!